Now, one of the mysteries of climate change policies is who are they intended to please? There will always be a section of the Australian community that thinks green policies should be pursued regardless of the cost, partly because that cost is met by other people, not themselves. But a large number of us remain sceptical about what's in it for us, because the benefits are often vague, perhaps even deliberately so. One of the few tangible benefits we are constantly told about is the approval these policies receive at international conferences. Indeed, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese recently said Australia had spent 9 years in the, quote, naughty corner of these conferences under the previous coalition government. Do we care if our elected representatives are shunned by the cool kids at these climate love-ins? My guess is we don't. They'd arguably earn more respect for being resolute outsiders amid this flock of sheep representing the interests of their real constituents, not the consensus of an elite cabal. In a minute, I'm going to ask my first guest, the brilliant former Queensland Senator Amanda Stoker, if all this focus on green energy is really for our benefit. But first, the Coalition's wonderful new Northern Territory Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price made quite an impact in our parliament last week, delivering a historic speech that diverted from the inner city woke Indigenous politics and instead pleaded for immediate help for Australia's most vulnerable and disadvantaged people. The response from the left-wing media was mostly adversarial but polite. But this morning it was reported that Nine newspapers columnist Peter Fitzsimons was rude to Price in a phone interview on Thursday. Price was quoted saying Fitzsimons had been condescending, his interview style was aggressive, and he had accused her of, quote, somehow giving power to racists, unquote. Fitzsimons responded by saying the claims were nonsense and the interview had been a, quote, professional exchange. Well, let's bring in former Queensland Senator Amanda Stoker to discuss this. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks very much for having me.
Amanda, who are you inclined to believe in this situation, Price or Fitzsimons?
Well, I've got to declare a bias here because I'm really good friends with Jacinta Price and I trust her enormously. And so I'm inclined to trust the person I know to be an honourable person in our private dealings. However, Mr. Fitzsimons has said he recorded the thing with her consent. So if he's recorded it and he's behaved in the way that he has said he has behaved, he should have no hesitation in releasing it. It is very interesting to have somebody who is such an enthusiast for identity politics, himself an inner city white male, telling an Indigenous woman from a remote community what views she should or shouldn't have on questions of the policy that's needed to advance the lives of her very own community.